wahala, your breakthrough, idea. Welcome to the chat room.
This no be ordinary place. Now a solution they show face. Lady Mary they lead the way. With guess where go blow your brain. Talk your matter make we solve 'em. No judgment, just love and wisdom. We they discuss, we they learn. Every episode you go feel the burn. Oh, the chat room. Now here we define the way. Oh, the chat room.
Oh yes,
We go talk and clear, no delay.
no delay.
Oh, it's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. Oh, the chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie.
You,
Hey, the chat room. Hey, now here we define the way. The chat room. We go talk and clear, no delay, no delay. It's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. The chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie. Oh, the chat room. Now here we define the way. Oh, the chat room. Oh yes, we go talk and clear, no delay, no delay. It's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. Oh, the chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie. You.
Hello, family. Good afternoon, good evening to you all, depending on what time it may be. My name is Lady Mary Boadu, and I am your host for the Chat Room, a platform dedicated to resolving daily life issues. And I hope you can hear me. You are welcome, Prof. Can you hear us, please? Hello, Prof. Are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Okay. Nanaya, are you on?
I'm on.
Okay. All right, Nanaya, please take over if since you're on. Okay, it says you're muted, Nanaya. If you're talking, we can hear you.
I'm gonna pull myself out. Oh, here we go. All right. Better? You can hear me now?
Yeah. You're freezing.
Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the chat room. So once again, tonight, so it might be just on my end. Okay. I'll go ahead and have our guests introduce themselves as I get my screen together to start working. Dr. Vivian, you want to go ahead and start with the introduction, please?
Okay, hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Vivian Newton. I'm a professor and a success coach. I'm a mother as well to two amazing young men. Thank you.
All right. Can I have my brother also go ahead and introduce himself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Hello, everyone. My name is Professor Quayson, and I am based here in Austin, Texas. And I do have the pleasure of speaking to you about parenting. I hope it will be exciting, and I hope we are going to learn from it.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you for accepting the call and joining us today. I see that the screen is still, I don't think it's just on my end. I think all on Facebook and even on YouTube. We just have the side screens. Is that what you all are seeing?
Yes.
Okay. So, lady, if you can get that fixed. But we're going to go ahead since we can be heard. We're going to go ahead. So, today we're still talking about our topic for the month of November, which is family dynamics, as well as we started with Thanksgiving and gratitude. Today, we are going to focus on parental interest and support to academics. Parental interest and support when it comes to academics. So, to begin, since there are two ladies, well, it will be three when Lady Mary joins us. So we're going to go ahead and have our gentleman first. So the first question that we want to touch on is just can you explain what we mean when we say parental interest in education? What does that mean to you when you hear that?
I guess the gentleman is going first, huh?
Yes, gentlemen
Okay.
first.
All right. Well, the question can mean a lot of things, right? I don't necessarily think you can take it any direction. Um, when it comes to a child's education, a lot of parents, or should I say some, because I don't have any data to back it up right now. So some parents will feel like the child's education is not their priority. Their priority is just to cater to the child's needs. But one of the things that the parents have to really keep in mind is that whatever you're doing for your child is basically preparing your child's education for a better future. So involvement on the parent side mean that you are getting the child ready for the simple things in life. So for example, if the child is going to school and you are not packing up the child's lunch, you got to make sure that the child is doing that. So that little task that you are telling the child to do, you're basically preparing the child for tasks and for future dependence on themselves, not dependent on anyone. When it comes to academic side, that is a whole long conversation that we can have about it because from what I've seen, I'll use myself as an example. Growing up, I didn't see my parents getting involved with my education as much as I would think they would. Right. The only time that they would get involved with my education is just coming to school to beat me up or to embarrass me in front of my teachers. Okay, that was the only time they were so involved. Whenever my principal or teacher would give them a call, oh, he's doing bad things. Okay, we coming. And then they would show up and then they would beat me up. Okay. That was the only exciting thing that they found interesting when it comes to my academic education. So I think, the question in itself has multi-layered, and depending on how, like I said, how you want to go about it, it would take us a whole day to discuss it or even a whole year. But what I want to make sure is that we distinguish between what is academics, what is life preparation, like lifelong skills, and the role of the child in the child's education, and then the role of the parent in the parent's education. So that can mean different things to different people. So that's what I'm going to leave it at. I'm not going to go into details. I'm just going to leave it as that because it's multi-layered.
Okay. And as we talk about it, of course, we will get in detail. And we want to focus about the academic side of things today, which, somehow, of course, may lead to, life somehow. So, Dr. Vivian, please go ahead.
So I will speak from the academic side. Um, we are talking to people today from America and everywhere else. And here in the United States, to be part of a child's education is attending parent-teacher meetings, making sure your child, when our kids, when they're in elementary school and they bring their notes home, is in the backpack, making sure you're checking that backpack, just making sure you're part of this journey. You don't have to be educated to be a teacher, to be teaching the child, but just being part of the journey, making sure that you are interested in your child's education. And the staff at school is seeing that you are a supportive parent, you know um, just making sure that the teacher knows who you are, in this country. I don't live in Ghana right now, so I can't speak for Ghana. But in this country, it's important to be a part of the journey, for the teachers to know that you are involved in your child's education. Not to say they have an announcement and it's in the backpack and the child didn't give it to you. We are teaching those social skills, but we all know as parents that it takes a while for the kids to get it. So just being present, I would say, being present when you pick them from school. If you don't pick them up, when you come home, how was your day? What happened at school? Talking to our children. That's what I would say is being part of your child's education.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I echo all that you all have said. Being part or getting involved in children's education, to me, means that, like our brother said, not just going for the bad stuff, right? But also showing up for the good stuff, showing up for those moments where they are being awarded for something, for those moments where, maybe even the times that you don't receive any bad news. Not receiving bad news from school is good news, right? So even just showing up, I know my daughter, my oldest children, throughout the school year, I would do like a lunch date with them where I'll show up at school and have lunch with them, in the cafeteria. And so when they talk about it, I haven't had a chance to do it with my daughter yet. And that's something that she's expecting, every year. And hopefully talking about it, I can hold myself accountable to do it this year. Every year she's talking about it. Are you coming to have lunch with me today? Are you coming? So that's part of being involved, showing up for them, letting them know that, you're not just here for those bad moments when they're receiving bad report from school and you have to show up for some type of disciplinary action, but also just, going for those little, not just parent teachers conference, but even showing up to chaperone for those of us who have like smaller children, chaperoning, showing up on maybe those school plays and concerts and, those things that you may think that it might not be important because you have more important things to do, like work and make money and pay bills and do this and do that, just showing up. And also the homeworks, be involved. Even, some of us now, when they're teaching the kids It's not the same way that I know I was taught when I was in school. You know, they even math, they're doing math differently now, you know. But even just kind of review and see what's going on. If you can help, help. If you cannot help, then talk to them and find them some help. Just show them that you are interested in what's going on when it comes to school. That's what my understanding is when it comes to that. Being involved. Being involved means being involved. So all around, yeah. And the next question that I wanted to touch on: why is it so important? Why is it so important for us to be involved and to show up? Dr. Vivian, you can go first.
it's it's important. In my case, I'll talk about me. It was important for me to be involved and show up because I want to know. We in this country, the education system is different. So if you think, when we were growing up, Ghana is changing as well. When we were growing up, you went to school, you did what you had to do, you took the common entrance. Your parents just said, go to school, do this and do that. This country, it's important for a parent to know what is going on. Talk to other parents. I was at a football game when the other parents were talking about this guy who was doing SAT prep. What if I wasn't talking to the parents? I didn't know other kids were preparing. So you can't just be in, oh, I'm an immigrant, I'm going to work, I'm coming home. And so knowing what is happening around you is important. And so you then take that information to guide your child, right? And everybody will say, okay, but maybe I don't go to the football games, I don't do this. Make sure you find resources. These days, resources are at our fingertips. Right. So as the parent, you are the one going to guide them until they leave for college. You're going to find the resources for them. You're going to be part of it. Or you tell your children, if you hear any resources, because everybody is not like us who is looking for the resources. But you tell your children, if you hear about anything that I need to know, please let me know so that I can help you. I can, support you in the way that I can. It's very important because when educators see that a parent is involved in their child's education, they give, they make sure that kid, they give them more attention. It is the truth. I've taught K through 12. When I know a parent is involved, it's a different ball game. And if the parent says, oh, you can email me if there's any problem and I need to know about, that student, I'm going to make sure I'm email the parents. So it's important for parents to be involved. If you can email, if you can, send that email, if you don't know what to do, you need to have your village with you. Talk to your sisters, your brothers, your uncles, your people around you who can help you, do that. So it's important for parents to be involved. It helps the student succeed in this country, I would say. That's my take.
Okay. Prof, you want to go?
Man, I really don't want to say a lot, but I had to say a lot.
I don't think okay.
It's like when I talk about parenting, it gets me emotional because of what I went through with my parents. It gets me really emotional, and not emotional like on the good side, but not on the good side, I would say. Showing up for your kids, one of the things that I would say is, one, in the Ghanaian community, I'm not even going to say African community because I don't know every African community. I know the Ghanaian community well. Parents tend to shout a lot at kids. They tend to insult the kids a lot. You know, um, they tend to not allow kids to be kids. And that in itself hurt the academic giftedness of children. And I'll give you an example. It just doesn't make sense, but they still say it to kids. Okay. The more you keep screaming at the kid, no, the kid will not be involved in certain things, even at the school level. Because so cool school no that voice no will say it back to her or him and say, hey, don't do that. You know, me papa saying your way, me mommy saying your way. So when it comes to parenting in the Ghanaian community, I think one, to make sure that your kids' academic is going well, one is the language. We got to cut out that unnecessary language. That's number one. We got to cut out insults. I know I said about language, but insult is a big, big thing. And then the third thing is comparison. We like to compare a lot. Unia, we have ba, neba boy, you know, the oye. You see, oye pilot. Oh, Tifina Udidi, Unya, they be a method, Yanima Udi, if you answer my betona with the Nina. Like, come on. Let's be honest, man. So to me, you know, I personally have a really bad feeling when it comes to Ghanaian parenting. I have a bad feeling because I didn't experience a good one. But what I was saying is that Ghanaian parents should allow kids to be kids. That's the first thing. Because the moment you allow kids to be kids now, they really explore their imagination of what they could do or can't do by themselves. You don't have to tell them. You know, parents to me is like a teacher. You're just there to guide the student or your child.
Yeah.
You know, making sure so your child doesn't go in the bad crowd or doesn't do the bad things or doesn't, you know, involve in the bad places in life. So you're just like a facilitator. But I think the fact that parents have so much influence and they provide for us and they will tell you that you don't have a say. The way I am granting yes, they do have a say. You know, the way I almost mommy and that's papa. I know that us Ghanaians we can't do that, right? We have the utmost respect for our parents, but at the same time, you can't tell your child that because I'm a Toma Udin, you know, you don't have any say in the decisions that I make. And this, when it comes to decisions for your child's academic involvement, now you have to really involve the child. A lot of parents will say that I'm the father, I'm the mother, I made the final decision, so you don't have a say. But it involves me as a child. What do you mean I don't have a say? You know, just because you're my parents doesn't mean you know my academic abilities. So that's yeah. And a lot of parents, or some, like I said, I don't have data to back it up, but some parents, the reason why they don't know much about your children's education or academics is because they don't get involved to know your child's strengths and weaknesses. The moment you know where your child's strengths and weaknesses are, you will be better positioned to make sure that, okay, my child is strong in the humanities. So I'm not going to push science on my child. My child is good in the science. So I'm not going to push humanities on my child. So once you're involved and you know where your child's strengths and weaknesses are, it makes it a lot easier for you to communicate with your child. You know, it makes it a lot easier for you to get involved with your child. So for example, if your child want to do a certain sport or join a certain club in the school, you can tell the child, hey, I think, you know, this is not your strongest pursuit, but if you want to do it, fine. But I would definitely suggest if you up for it, I would suggest that maybe you join the science club or the humanities club so that they can strengthen you, can strengthen your skills. But some Ghanaian parents, because and join in crowd, like shutting down the child. So we need to get involved with our children's decision making. Let us get involved with them. Don't decide it because you're just a parent. Um, Going to school and acting. I'll give you an example. My one thing that my parents know that I dislike is them coming to my school with African clothing. I dislike that. I dislike that. I mean, it's just so knowing that I dislike it, they do it on purpose. Okay. So this is part of the things that I'm talking about. If your child is telling you, don't come to my school with African clothing, it's not that I don't like my African identity. That has nothing to do with that. But I'm just saying, don't come to school with African clothing. That didn't know meshe kaba aboduku. Abijina so almost Felix upon question. How? Already in my culture, you said, don't come to my school wearing that.
Please translate. We have some non-Tree speaking audience.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. So they will come
Okay.
they'll come to the school and wear that, right? So that irritates my nerve. And I don't like it. And how do you expect me to communicate with you if I'm telling you not to do something, but yet you are still doing it? But yet, if you tell me to do something and I don't do it, you get mad at me. How does that work? Respect goes both ways. And I think it's about time that African parents in general learn that respect goes both ways. It doesn't go just one way. I'll end here.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Education starts at home, right? It's not just the go to school and you put your children on the teachers to raise them and to teach them manners and to teach them everything in life, and then they come home and you do the opposite and you expect them to learn, right? I think last week one of our guests said something about how our actions as parents speaks louder than the things that we say. We want them to do what we say, but not what we do. When you speak to them in a disrespectful manner, but then you demand respect from them, or you demand for them to respect their siblings and treat their siblings better. But when you speak and when you talk to them, you have no respect. We have to teach by our actions, and that's all a part of the education. Yes, we're talking about academics, but raising children, everything is education. Everything that you're teaching them, because they come to this earth not knowing anything at all. And sometimes I have a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And sometimes I have to kind of like remind myself that I have to teach them this. They don't necessarily know. Like if they do something and I expect them to come and apologize, but I don't voice that. I've never told them that when you do this, right, you have to open your mouth and apologize. You have to, you regret it. So when you regret your actions, you have to make amends, but you have to teach them. They don't know, we automatically want them to know those things, right? But who's teaching them? That's not something that is part of their school curriculum. So that has to be taught. And in school, when we're talking about, the academics, the importance of parents' involvement. If you know what your children are weak in, right, you call. I have one of my kids was struggling in, not really struggling. Thank God, they're pretty smart and intelligent when it comes to academics, so they do pretty well in school. But he had like all A's in every subject, but math was like a B. And he, not just even me, him, he didn't like the fact that he had to be in math and A's in everything, right? So I could see the frustration when he's doing homework and he's not getting it and he's frustrated because it's just not coming through. I had to make a call to the teacher and say, okay, I know that he has a B, but he can do better. So what kind of help, what kind of assistance do you all have so he can get extra help? Because I can see that he's frustrated and he's not getting it how he wants to get it. So then she went into telling me how he's a very smart boy, but in class, and it was an honors math class, in class, all of his friends, it's like the people in the class, they are all pretty smart. So there's not a lot of questions being asked. So if he doesn't understand something and he needs to ask the question, it's making him feel like he's below everybody. So he doesn't want to ask the question. Like sometimes she can tell from his face that he's not getting it. And so she would say, do you understand what I'm saying? And he would say, yes, I do. But he doesn't, but because his friends are in the class, he doesn't want to look like he's the one that's not smart enough or, he needs more help than everybody else. So I had to work it out where she got him help outside of class. But you have to be the parent that show up and ask questions. There's so many resources, especially in America. There's so many resources out there that we don't tap in. As immigrant families, we do not tap in. It's not something, it doesn't even cost anything. You just have to make a call and say, this is what my child needs. Where can I get that assistance? And you'll be able to get it. But we don't do it because we're too busy doing everything else. But then we get frustrated and then we want to get on the children and, punish them because they are not getting the A's and B's that we want them to get. But you're not doing anything to help. So we need to, this is really, if you're in America, I can only speak for America. It is the land of opportunities, but you have to seek it out. You have to be involved and you have to find those assistants to help your children. Lady, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I've actually listened to all of the conversation and I was laughing at Prof's comment, but it's so realistic that, we've all kind of experienced that. But I wanted to ask him if he can explain how, really into detailed, how that particular way, telling your parents don't come to my school wearing African clothing and all of that, how do they affect our academics? Can you guys hear? Okay.
I think I heard you. Yeah. So how does that? It's all about perception. Perception is very important. So learning, and I know Dr. Newton will tell you because she has a doctorate in education, so she would tell you she's an expert. Perception goes a long way with learning, okay, and identity. So I know we like to wear African stuff because of where we come from, okay, but me in general, I was only born in Ghana. I was raised here, so my whole life, one thing that I hate in my life is the African clothing. Seriously, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. It's personally me. That's who I am.
You say you were born and raised where? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I was born in Ghana, but I was raised here.
Here in America?
Do you mind? Like, how old were you when you came? Do you mind sharing?
I came at the age of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't like the African clothing. Not that, I have any hatred towards it. I just don't like it. Because I didn't grow up on it, right? I didn't grow up wearing African clothing. Okay. So for me, it may be part of other people's identity. It's not part of my identity.
Yeah.
In a cultural way. Okay. I still subscribe to the Ghanaian culture and everything. I still haven't lost my Chi accent. so which is good. I speak Tree in a way, but it might not be the perfect one, but it's actually better than a lot of people. So the thing is, it affects the perception of the child. If the child is okay with it, then the child is okay with it. But if the child is not okay with it, then don't do it. I don't know why it's so difficult for some parents to respect the wishes of their children. I don't know why. But yet they turn around and want us to respect their wishes or what they say to us. So, for example, I grew up in Far Rockaway, Queens, okay? And it's really considered, I think some people say ghetto or something like that. But to me, it depends on what part of Far Rockaway you grew up in. Now, the Queens side of where I grew up, there were some Africans, okay? There were some Africans. Now, because the majority of us kids, we went to the same school, middle school, high school, you really didn't see parents coming into the school wearing just anything that they wanted to. Okay. I saw a lot of parents coming in, even though they were Jamaicans, they weren't wearing Jamaican stuff. Even though they were Indians, they weren't wearing Indian stuff. Right. So to me, I was like, okay, if I want my parents to come to the school, I want my parents to dress at least professionally. But no, when I tell them don't wear it, that's the day they're gonna wear it. And they're gonna put that headband on and don't make it parade on my band. Then they will stand there and say they're looking for you, embarrass you, slap you, throw water in your face, and do all the nine.
Throw water on your face.
Listen, like I said, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. So the perception of it. Now, if you continue to do that and not give your child the wishes that they want you to do, then it really hurt them internally. It might even bring their learning abilities down. So perceptions really go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to correct something so that people will not think we are here bashing African outfits, because I love them. I love them. I wear them when appropriate. Okay. I wear them when appropriate. My son just got married. Oh, we
thank you, Dr. Newman. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I just want to, say when appropriate, because we wanted to show Ithaca that we came, and that was it, and it was beautiful. It was a wedding, so it was beautiful, and you can have African outfit. So to your parents, for us not to make them, that's what maybe they knew. And some immigrants, it's hard for them to change what they know. They don't change their food. They don't take, and that kind of parenting is not what we want, right?
Yeah. Dr. Newman, sorry to cut you off, but I'll ask you something. When they go for interviews, like job interviews, they don't wear that.
They don't wear that. That's what I was coming to, that kind of parenting is not what we are learning. So, see, my older son says something one day. I'm a single parent. So one thing he said, I know what I don't want when I become a dad. See, so the negative things that, because I can see where your heart was. You were a little kid. You want to fit in. You are in a new country. You came from a different country, and you just want your parents to look like an American parent, like in a dress, or pantsuit or whatever it is, shirt, whatever it is. I get where you are coming from. And I think that we came here, and we now, some of you that grew up here, we know that that's not something we're going to do, right? We know that that's not something. So I think your parents, at least, we just have to forgive them. They don't know any better. They were doing what they were.
No. I don't hold any grudges against them. I want to make some corrections.
You're just saying.
I want to make some corrections while we're online. I don't hold any grudges against them. My parents, I have one parent and one parent only. I have one mom and one dad. And that will be for the rest of my life on this planet. Mm-hmm. But the experiences that I went through weren't a positive one.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that other parents really learn from it,
And don't do
not bash other Ghanaians about it, but
Yeah.
Yes.
because I'm sure said, even though I came here as a kid, went through the whole educational system here, even the ones that you are giving birth here in the U.S., the ones that didn't come or weren't born in Ghana, will have the same sentiments that I have. Not everyone will like the African attire.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't
Yeah,
want
but
to.
I don't think it's more of you not liking. I think
Right.
it's more about being a kid. It's bad enough that you've been placed in this whole new environment and you're trying to, adjust to the environment and become part of the environment, right? And
Yeah,
then
but what I'm saying is, the ones that are being born here wouldn't even want their parents to show up like
Yeah,
that, right?
and that's understandable, because
Right.
not to cut you off, I understand where you're coming from. Children see things differently than adults, right?
they don't
When
understand that. They want
yeah,
to be a part of the team.
yeah,
They don't
but
understand that.
then our children, the ones who are grown here, we can say all we want, but as they grow and they begin to know their culture and they know what they pick from it, right? When my son was in law school, he was always like, "Mom, I need African clothing because we are doing this, when we are doing that." He's a grown man now. You see what I'm saying? But when you're in that elementary school and high school and kids are teasing you and all that, we want to listen to our kids and hear, what am I hearing? What if a parent just take the time and said, okay, so why is this triggering you so much? And then you have the opportunity to say, I get teased. When I was a teacher, I hope I don't say this and get in trouble, but one of the students told me to go back to Africa. Yeah, at school. So I can see, and then I said, "Oh, I'm only here because you can read. If you start reading, I'll go. Just dig it myself too." But K through 12 is if you can. I taught middle school, so middle school is, if you can teach middle school, you can go to war.
You can teach
Those
anything.
kids will embarrass you. They will. So I can see where, if your mom came in the outfit, I can see where the kids would be like, yeah. So so I understand where you're coming from. So it's not like you don't love the African outfit. That's not the point at all. It's because of your lived experience. You see what I'm saying? Your lived experience. So then that becomes, it's not like it's not beautiful or you don't like it. I just want people out there not to say, "Oh, what is wrong with that?" No, nothing is wrong with it. It's the lived experience of a little kid who is trying to maneuver and get through school with little. We have a lot of issues already. They don't need that on their plate.
Yeah.
As kids.
And some children may not even mind it.
Some kids will not mind. Yeah.
I know a little girl that, she was born here. She's 12. She just loves her African culture. She loves it. She will wear her African clothes if you let her wear it to school. She will wear it. She just loves it. I remember one time we were at church and we had some food, and she was eating and she was walking at the parking lot, and she was like, "Oh, I love being African." And I'm like, "Why?" She was like, "Because the food is so good. I just love the food." And I was like,
See, they grew up in an era.
Like being African,
Yeah, they grew up in an era.
It's how if your children don't mind you wearing it and you want to wear it, because there are children in school. You all have seen where parents have shown up in pajamas and bonnet, and the children are like, "Oh my God, oh my God." It's kind of like the same thing. If your children don't like it, respect.
Yeah, because I can tell you, said when the time that I grew up in, it was harder for you to be an African in public.
What year was that? Was it like in the 1990s, 2000?
I won't say the year, but what I can tell you is it was a hard time.
Yeah,
being African wasn't fashionable like it is today.
Nah,
so once they see that there's somebody with an African, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's That's Felix's parents,
Mhm.
something like that. So it was now is kind of cool because these kids are growing up in a cool, fashion, trending
Mhm.
environment where everyone wants to be at,
African, yeah. We have
African.
Afrobeat.
Exactly. We have
Yes.
Afrobeats. Black Americans love it today. Back then, it wasn't like that.
Mm-mm. You're muted.
Listen, I can say I came here in 1997 and I started high school. And that if I wasn't someone that was already confident in myself and in my culture, it was still very hard to try to be. I was 14, 14ish. It was very hard to try to, fit into the system and the society. And my thing was I'm African. There's nothing I can do. I can't change how I speak. I can't. There's nothing I can do about it. I can only accept it. My parents never came to school, right? There was not a time, with the exception of graduating high school. My parents never, because I never got in trouble, so I didn't give them any, you know, anything to force them to come to school. So since I didn't get in trouble, then they just didn't come. Honor roll celebrations, they're working, okay. But I was a teenager. I wasn't like really really young, so I kind of could
So,
handle myself, knew what I was supposed to do, and what I wasn't
so,
supposed to do. So I did what they wanted me to do. But
mhm.
go ahead.
So I want to make correction here because I heard a lot of I know my identity, I know myself, and so forth. And the us that don't prefer our parents were that African attire doesn't mean that we don't know ourselves, our cultural identity. We know ourselves and we know our cultural identity.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
No, I know, I know. I'm not saying what you're saying is. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
saying what I hear a lot. So we know ourselves and we know our cultural identity, right? Just because we prefer something different doesn't mean that we don't know our cultural identity or cultural self. So I want to make sure that whoever is listening doesn't think that because you prefer your parents not to wear African attire to your school doesn't
Mhm.
mean that you don't know your cultural self or cultural
Not
identity.
at all. I didn't want
So
my
whoever
parents
is
to wear.
listening out there, make
I'm
sure
with
that
you.
is
I
not
would have never wanted my parents to show up in school in some kaba and slit and duku. No,
That's a lot.
you know, no. That would have been a no for me, right? Even my graduation, I couldn't stop my grandmother. My grandmother was the only one that wore that
Yes.
for my graduation, but I couldn't stop her. So, but that was okay. You know, I think my parents are pretty appropriate when it comes to what to wear. So yeah, I'm with you. But I'm saying, like, with the experience, it was a difficult experience to like transition from that, especially around that year. Now, being African is a trend. you know, Now it's a thing that everybody, like you said, Afrobeats and the year of the return and all this going on. So now it's fancy. It's not as what it was back then, right? But not trying to go off topic, you know, we have to adapt to the environment that we're in, especially when you put your children in a new environment that they have to conform to. We have to listen. Listen, because, for example, if your child is saying, please don't wear this to school, sometimes it's about being self confident. You know, you come to school, they're feeling embarrassed, but then you want them to concentrate and listen to what a teacher is telling them in school. But while they're sitting there, they literally want to like crawl back into a hole because you have embarrassed them. How are they going to be able to pay attention? Right? So please, it's not. We are the parents. We know we are the parents, but listen, it goes a long way. But that's all, without going too far on that same question. Now, if anybody else have anything that they want to say, you can before I go on to the next question.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I think we've covered a lot. We've covered a lot. What I wanted to also ask is how can parents encourage academic curiosity without becoming overbearing? You know, not putting too much pressure on what you feel that they should be doing. Like, how do you encourage them in their academics without forcing what you want on them?
I don't think I get your question correctly. Can
Okay.
you restate it?
How can we encourage academic curiosity, right, without becoming overbearing?
Okay, that's a good one.
You can,
Yeah,
you can go ahead.
sure, I'll go ahead. So curiosity is also in line with perception that I talked about, and I'm glad that you brought the end of the last question. You said that will discourage the child not to stay focused and all of that. So that's all part of perception, right? So curiosity is more like, let's say the father, son, or daughter traveling and they see like, they went to a zoo or something like that, and you start asking the child question. So what food does giraffe eat, for example? Or how many months does it take a lion to give birth? Those are all part of learning curiosity. Okay. But some of our African parents will not do that, especially the fathers. I know for a fact. I know my dad. You can't ask my dad questions like that, or because I remember. I'll tell you a story, and then I'll get back to it. So I remember one time my dad was watching this Ghanaian movie, right, and it was about dead people. Can you imagine it? Dead people coming back to life, or dying in the
Of
cemetery
course,
and
it's a
having
Ghanaian
fun,
movie.
right? Having fun in the cemetery. So I was just like, I couldn't believe what I was just seeing. It. I was like, and he was so into it. He was like, oh, look at that. And then I said something. I said, oh, so what happened to him? Like, is he back in life? And he said something like, right? So sort of this, right? You see that the person is dead, and you ask me, and I'm like, wow, I know I see that the person is dead, but look at you, you're all excited and you're laughing. And I'm like, I don't see where it is funny or it is exciting, right? So that goes to show you that some of our African parents don't really take time to learn with us when it comes to curiosity. Just asking questions or just saying, "Oh, you see this? How many people do you think it took for them to build this house?" Just putting it out there, because one of the things that's going to happen is your child is going to be very curious when they go to school, and then they will say, "Oh, my dad and I were walking around and we saw a building, and my dad asked me how many people did it take to build this house." That's all part of the learning process, Now they're going to spend their time in school. One day, either they're going to become an architect or they're going to become a teacher or researcher, or one of them, And those are good careers to have. So let us enjoy the possibility of just talking to our children. What do you like to do? What excites you? Before you know it, because there's some research out there that says black boys by the age of 4, they know when they're gonna drop out of school. By the age of 4, black boys,
Wow.
they know if they're gonna move forward in academics or not. So don't tell me that the age of 3 is so young to ask a child what they want to do. Don't tell me the age of 4 is so young. Don't tell me the age of 5 is so young. Start by asking them questions. If they want a robot, buy them a robot and give them an assignment. And you can say, okay, I want you to take apart the robot and tell me how many batteries are in the robot. Just something like that. Give the child a task to do, or put a tablet in front of the child and say, hey, I want you to learn this, and I want you to tell me exactly what you learned. I want to know. I want you to tell me what you learned. Quizzing them verbally, and just asking them, speaking to them in a way. And one thing that I always love about life is words or language means a lot. I can tell a child, I can speak to a child in a way that the child will never like me, ever, ever in this life, and they will never forget it. Or I can speak to a child in a way that is nurturing, that the child will be like, the child will always remember, oh, this person always has my best interest in mind. So if I go up to him or her and ask her about a question, they are going to give me the best possible scenario. So it's all about words. It's not about façam frio,
Yeah.
like we always like to do in our culture, like frio, like, but you're enjoying it. So it's like nurturing. Even if the question doesn't make sense, I'm an educator. You know how many times college students have asked me dumb questions, but you can't say it's dumb. You post the announcement, they read it, but they will still ask you questions. But it doesn't mean that they are dumb. It just means that you have to clarify it to them. So now you have to say, no, I want you to look at it this way. When you do that, they're like, oh, I get it now. That is what we have to do with our kids. They may not always get, and there's a lot of pressure. I'm the only son in my family. I have three sisters. I'm the only son. So you can imagine the pressure that was on me.
And that's why you're not.
Everything I did wasn't good enough. Everything I did wasn't good enough. But anything that I have to do in the house is all the son's fault. Like, why didn't you do this? Go and clean my car. Go and do this. Like, I'm the only person doing that. So, but if I do that and you don't talk to me in a certain way that's nurturing, do you think I'm ever gonna like you? No, I'm not gonna like you. I don't hold grudges against you, but I'm just gonna stay away.
Yeah.
So nurturing comes a lot with the language, the way we say words, the way we let our words out, and the way we communicate with our kids.
Thank you, Dr. Vivian.
Yeah. So Doc has said all, but there are little things that we can do. I know that immigrant parents, we came here to work. I get it. But little things like just going to the supermarket and with your child. Do you know how many kids don't know the names of vegetables in this country? I taught K through 12. So there's something about having a picture of, the vegetable. So just going to the supermarket and your child is with you, let's get some tomatoes. Let's get some cucumbers. Let's get this. So that the child it's all part of learning. Learning doesn't only happen in the classroom. It happens with us. Library cards are free, people. Your local library.
Yeah.
That was my resources. My local library here. I thank them. They were a resource for me, So all these things are part of learning, and not only, you have to grow up and become an engineer and a doctor and all that.
Yeah.
Lawyer, you have to be. I have a lawyer, but I didn't force it because it was interesting. I will go to DC. I remember we were going to the White House, and I'm like, what would you like to see? And we were in the hotel. They were in middle school. And I think the younger one was in elementary school. They scribbled something. So when we went, I made sure we watched, like we got to the blue room and we were looking up. When we came back, so my vacation, I was terrible. My vacations, you have to write something when you come back from, if we went to the museum or something. Not a whole dissertation, but just something small. So we'll come back to the hotel. And because they know I have to get off their back, those, my youngest one will scribble it quickly. I'm like, go back. So little things like that became interesting. We go to the museum. Some of them are free, so if you're not working, we are not saying stop your job, because I know immigrants are like, oh, we have a job. What is she talking about? Even if you have a job, take time sometimes and just do those things. I wasn't interested in museums. Are you kidding me? I didn't come to this country to go to museums, but I did. So the learning is not only happening, we don't put everything on the teacher and the professors that they have to do it. We have to find resources as well. We have to just open the world to them, right? I can't remember. I can't remember her name. She's the first Black woman to go to space. She was an astronaut. Okay. So she attended Cornell University and she wanted to dance, right? But she loved science as well. So the parents told her, you can do both. So she does theater and still went to the moon. It's not like, oh, you can't dance at all. She dances and still went to the moon. So when I went to this, she came to a college and I went there and I was listening. I was like, that's interesting that your parents can say you can do both.
Right? Imagine if you that girl was African, they'd be like, "Oh, shoot, you see my high now."
That's where. That's where.
That's for who?
That's not to put money on the table, food on the table. One thing that my mother said to me, and it kind of like shut me up. When I used to complain about, oh, how you didn't do this and you didn't show up for this, and she said, you know what? I did what I thought was best for you.
Yeah.
But now you're a mother. Do better for your children.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's right. Yeah. So everything that when I think of stuff that, I wish my parents had done, I say to myself, I'm going to do that for my children. Mm-hmm. So they have it better than I did. Mm-hmm. Having a curious mind is actually a good thing. Mm-hmm. Asking questions is a good thing. We were not encouraged to ask questions. If you're asking too many questions, you talk too much. Be quiet. But if I don't ask the questions, like I'm encouraging my children, if you have a question, ask, especially in school. Ask, because that's the only way that you will learn. You have to ask, but that was not something that we were encouraged to do. So you want your child to become a scientist. You want them to become a lawyer. What attorneys do is ask questions. Scientists research, it's all like being curious and trying to find the answers, right? So it's good for us to encourage it. One thing I am doing is, and hopefully, I don't like put my interest on my children, because for me, literally, I was forced towards like a certain career. And when I was in school, I figured that was not for me. There's no way I can do that, right? And my parents literally didn't know what my major was in college until they came to graduation, because they thought I was doing one thing and I switched it. And I didn't tell them because I knew that they were going to say no. And what they were telling me to do, I tried. I didn't want to do it. They wanted me to be a nurse. I tried. And literally, after like pre-nursing, I was supposed to apply to nursing school. I said, I'm not doing it, because I can see myself. I don't even like being in a hospital. So how can I work in a hospital if I don't like being there? I don't like the smell. I don't like the, I don't like it. I would be the most miserable person if I was a nurse. I spoke to my counselor. They gave me some options. I chose something else. And when they came to school and they called the nursing students, I was not one of them. At that point, it was too late. What are we going to do? We go with what I have. It's too late, but I didn't feel like, the acceptance will be there if I told them what I wanted, And that's one thing that I pray. I did it, and I don't want my children to do it for me. To me, I want to open up the communication. What are you interested in? What do you want to do? Let's talk about it. You know, go ahead, Dr. Vivian.
No, I was going to say, because I am a coach, I talk to students a lot, and immediately they come to my office, the the parents will be like, I'll be like, so do you know what you would like to study? And then the parents will be like, oh, he wants to be a mechanical engineer. I said, let me speak to the student.
Yeah.
And I said, if you don't know what you want to be right now, it's okay. And I will usually joke by saying, I'm still figuring it out. As a teacher, school counselor, now I'm here at the college, and I'm still talking to kids every day. And there's a next thing for me. So please don't feel like, oh, I'm a failure because I cannot figure it out the first semester. It's fine, you know. And so I see the parents, oh, especially the immigrant ones. They want to say he's going to be this mechanical engineer. What is this one? And I tell them, I said, hey, I'm an immigrant. I know what I'm saying. He's going to be all right. Let's take it. Let's take the general education courses. Let's keep it going. He's here. That is a big step. He's here, you know, because we want, I think the dream, the things that they could not achieve,
they want you to achieve. They feel like they're doing you a favor.
And also, like the aunties, African aunties, we want to brag to our friends that, hey, you know, Kujo is now a medical doctor. He's in medical school. If you watch a Saturday Night,
but he's a doctor.
Yeah, there's a clip from Saturday Night Live, and they did African parents. Dr. Phyllis, did you see it? I'll send it to you. They did African parents, and their son wanted to write poetry. He wants to be a writer. And the mother said, who lied to you? Who lied to you? It was funny on SNL. It's there. It's a clip. They are like, no, you have to be a doctor. And then the dad intentionally broke the drinking glass and said, oh, is there a poet in the house? Is there a poet in the house? A poet came.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's so funny, and we laugh a bit about it now, but it's like, is that what your child wants to really do? You know, it's not the studying part, but why do you know? So we have to be very mindful. We have to see. Yes, we are in America now, so we have, you know, we have all kinds of resources. In Ghana, I can speak about Ghana because you are put in a lane, science, you know, the arts, and that's it. So people are stuck, and some people will go all the way to medical school before they realize that that's not what they want to do.
They don't want to do it
all those years. That's
unfortunate.
Yes. So we just need to, you know, now we are not talking about our parents. We are talking about us. You know, if what our parents did was something that we did not appreciate, now we need to change, and we need to talk to our kids. We need to, you know, if you go and visit them in college and they're trying to change their major, talk to them. My youngest changed his major. He didn't want to do business. I mean, he was like, this is not for me. And it was fine. We talked about it, went to talk to the advisor. We saw what he's creative. This is what he wants to do. He wants to do architecture, design. Fine. But in the can you imagine if he couldn't come to me and talk to me? You see, but because we have that conversation, we talked, you know, he's in tears. I'm like, what are we crying for? Hey, we are in America, we can change it. It's not that you are not a death sentence, you know? So yes, we should be able to talk to our kids. And if we don't know what it is that they want to study, writing is a thing. Look at Chimamanda Adichie. She was supposed to be a doctor. She was supposed to be a doctor. When she came to school here, she said immediately her parents she rushed to the literature department. You know what I'm saying? So yes, everybody's not going to become her, I know, but you don't know what your child could become. And then they are happy, they are fulfilled. It's their life. You know, we want them to be good citizens. So that's all I can say to that.
Thank you. Yes. You know, there's nothing like doing something that you love. And when you love it, the chances of you being successful at that thing it's high. You know, but when you don't like what you're doing, somebody force you to become something, you're not going to be successful.
I think there was a quote that said, "Do something that you love, and you never work a day in your life."
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's very true. You know, I basically aligned with what I wanted to do, and I work, but I don't feel like I work. You know, because I
Yeah.
love what I do. So it's like it has become part of me. And even though I go to work, I do what I have to do, but I don't feel like I'm actually working. Yeah.
Yes, same here. Same here. I remember those times that I used to work at a bank. And sorry, if you work in a bank, I'm not saying it's not a good job. I'm not saying it's not. All I'm saying is it was not for me. It was not for me.
Yeah. I was a teacher. My first job was kindergarten. It was not for me.
See?
I walked in and I'm like, okay, first of all, my friends have to help me to decorate my classroom. I was so lost. I was supposed to choose a theme. I'm like, what for what? They need to write their ABCs. So
It's a lot of work. Those
I know, I'm
kindergarten
like, what
teachers,
is this?
it's
So
a
my
lot of
friends,
work.
I had some friends, they came, everybody said, okay, we'll choose a theme. Your classroom is butterfly. They brought some butterfly. Then the first day of school, the kids came in. I had their names on the table and I had a paper and a pencil. And I'm like, okay, you all sit down and write your names. And they couldn't write. I'm like, you guys cannot write your name. The
You
next
don't know
door,
how to write yet. You're supposed to teach
the
them.
next door kindergarten teacher was dying. She's like, you have to teach them. I said, no, they should have learned how to write their names. I hated kindergarten. And first of all, I have to play songs for them to sing. And I'll hear the next door teacher singing. She had a lovely voice, and you see my voice. It's not for singing. So I'm like, this is not going to work. I hated my job that first year. However, the kids loved me. So it changed a little bit. At the end of it, when the principal said, what grade? I said, I'm done. Not this kindergarten. I am off. And I went to middle school, then onwards. It was horrible. It was, and I applaud kindergarten teachers. They are amazing human beings. They mold these kids. They have patience. You see, everybody has their gift. I don't have that patience.
Yeah.
I wanted to do research in kindergarten. A friend of mine said, Vivian, they're only in kindergarten. They don't need to be writing a dissertation. So we all have our gifts. And there's people who have taught kindergarten 30 years. And they are patient and they mold the kids. So you have to find where you belong. You know, so when you go somewhere and people are being mean, I know they're in the wrong job.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you go to an office,
if you're a mean nurse, it's not for you.
I'm like, are you okay? Something is not right. Maybe quit and find something that you love. Like Dr. Phyllis said, if if you love what you do, I like talking. So my classroom, my students are the happiest because by the time the semester is over, my kids find friends in the classroom because I talk a lot. And, you know, so we come together as a class and we end the semester strong. So those who are not doing well, I'm like, you need to see me in my office. We need to talk. And I talk to them like I'm their parent. You know, I said, look, I'm your mom, you know, and they've been respectful. I have not had any kid who has gone through my class and been disrespectful, and they still come and see me. Like if they're struggling, they are transferring to a big university, they'll come to my office and talk to me. So I like what I do. I like talking and helping young people. So it shows in whatever you do, right? So you just have to find what you need to do. And we are young now and we are raising kids, we need to learn this. We are not saying anybody should quit their job and follow their children. I know that people, though, interpret what we are saying that, oh, we think everybody have time. No, we're just saying make that time. We are not our parents. Our parents did the best they know how. That's what they knew. But we can learn, we can change, we can mold ourselves and learn the system and know that, hey, our kids need us. You know, what can we do to help them along this journey? So, yeah.
Yeah, we're not perfect. We're gonna make mistakes. It's okay. Yes. You learn from your mistakes. You know. Yeah. You know. Sometimes I'm just thinking, God help me. Don't let me mess up this children because.
And I think the biggest thing Felix was saying is listening, right? My youngest, when he was in elementary school, because I'm doing so much. I was a single parent. I'm doing this, I'm doing so much. So when he's talking to me, I'm listening, but I'm not looking at him. He used to hold my face when he's talking to me. Yeah, so he'll do this until he finished telling me what he wants to tell me. And I'm like, oh, why is this kid holding my face? But now I realize he just wants me to pay attention to what he's saying. You know, for that one moment, put the dishes down. I need to talk. So he'll be like, Mom. Like, so, you know, listening is important. If we, you know, my kids taught me, like when I did something wrong, and when I want to apologize, I'll say, oh, if I did that, I'm sorry. So immediately I say, if.
That's not an apology.
They're like, okay, that's not, you said if, so you really did not do it. So that's something I've come to learn from my kids.
Yeah.
You know, because we didn't get apologies. And so I didn't know how to apologize to my kid. Why am I apologizing to you? But I begin to see that, okay, I also make mistakes. Oh my God, I truly, truly messed that up. I'm sorry. You know, so it's something, listening, being apologetic, being disciplining them. It doesn't mean we are saying that you should let your children run around. I don't want people to think that's what we are saying at all. We are just saying discipline, but at the same time, in a loving tone, asking them questions, listening to, when they ask a question, you engage them. You know, when they said, oh, I can't, oh, so why? Tell me more. Tell me more about what you're saying. So you let them continue. Follow in the classroom. We do that, right, Dr. Fellis? We want students to ask questions, follow-up questions. We want to hear where they're coming from. We should do the same for our kids. Where are you coming from? I know me, I don't have time. I have to go to work tomorrow. You know, all those things. And the language, like you were saying, the things we say, the negative things we say, the comparison. You don't know what is happening in Kwame's house, and you're comparing Kwame to your child. You don't know. The tears the parents are crying there, you know. Facebook is beautiful. I'm not posting any bad photos, so don't look for it.
Nobody's posting their trash on there.
We're not posting our issues there. So we are just there to have a good time. So don't look at somebody's journey there and say, oh, no, they have everything going for them, and my kids, they won't do this. Look at this kid, he's doing this. Encourage your kids. And even if you say that, and I'm included, I used to do that. You know, so let's encourage our children and let's be supportive with our words, and not only, oh, we are providing for them. You know, it's important to encourage them with our words as well.
Yeah. Lady Mary wants to know if there are any resources that we can, or any resources out there that can help our African parents, or I would say parents in general, to understand better.
I mean, these days we have a lot of podcasts. You just have to find which one, because there's too many voices out there. So you have to find which one that it has the resources. And, you know, we have resources online. You know, you pull what works for you, you know. And so, like I would say, listening to YouTube, there's so many resources on YouTube. Dr. Felix have a YouTube. I listen to it. I subscribe to it. So yeah, you know, find those. When I'm working in the kitchen, when I'm home, I listen to a lot of things. I don't have to sit down and watch, because people think that if you're looking at YouTube, you have to watch it. I just keep playing it, and I'm just working and listening. So I'm learning all the time. I'm listening all the time. I don't have to sit down and watch it. So that's important for us to equip ourselves with knowledge, because we have children that are born here. What are we going to do? We have to know how. Yeah, we have to learn, and it's helping us too. I learn a lot from my kids, you know, and so it's helping us learning from our children, guiding them, talking to other parents. Please, my people, it's okay. They are not witches and witches, you know. They're okay. Just talk to them, and get information that you need.
Yeah, Dr. Phyllis.
Dr. Phyllis.
Any resources?
I'm just laughing. I'm laughing over here, but everything you're saying is so true and spot on. I would say the community resources is communities actually have events. Believe it or not, they have events for parents. It could be through a nonprofit where they do like parental education, or they might even do, communities might do something like drug prevention education, something like that. All of it is part of education, because nowadays you don't know what your child can get themselves into, right? So the more knowledge that you have, the more that you can prevent it from happening. There's been a lot of parents that your children overdosed and they said, oh, maybe if I would have went to that community drug awareness event, I would have prevented my son or daughter from dying. And it's true.
Mm.
We also kind of see similar things within the Ghanaian community here in the U.S. or elsewhere. So I think we need to get involved, make sure our emails are out there so that in the database system, so that when they send out announcements like that, we know that this event is happening. This event is happening. And one of the things that I would say is go to PTA meetings. Seriously, go to your child. A lot of parents will skip that and go to work. Work will always be there. Work will always be there.
PTA meetings.
But you go to the PTA meeting and having that conversation with the teacher means so much more, because I bet you that if Dr. Nguyen's son's teacher saw that Dr. Nguyen is a doctor, they would treat the son differently. It's all part of the engagement. You going knowing what your son strengths and weaknesses are, the resources that are available. The more involved that you are, the better it will be for your kids. And just like what Dr. Nguyen said, don't just think everyone is out to get you. They're not out to get you. Resources are out there for a reason. No one is going to chew you up, and your business is not going to be all over the place. Oh my goodness, they're doing this, they're doing that. Just take advantage of the resources in your community. A lot of us Ghanaians, especially the parents, are in. I mean, they bought houses, right? For example, they bought houses, and the houses comes with the HOA and all of these other sub-development stuff. But if I would do a survey and I ask her, how many community events have you gone to? We probably won't get a lot, even though they're
paying, but they're not using it. Mm-hmm.
Right, they're paying taxes and HOA fees and all of that, but they don't go to community events like that. And community events, the mud events and all of that, have a lot of community resources available. So let's take advantage of our local resources. YouTube is another one. Right now, life is YouTube. Seriously, if you want to know anything about life, go to YouTube. There's a lot of podcasts, and just like Dr. Nguyen said, go to, listen to any podcast that will give you life. There are podcasts that don't make sense, but there are podcasts that make sense. So whatever fits your style and your mood and what you want to learn, just subscribe to it.
Yeah. In this age, there's no excuse to not know something.
It's a sin. It's a sin not to know something.
Yes, just ask. If you need something and you don't know where it's at, open your mouth. I'm sure your next door neighbor, your children's friends, teacher, friends, parents, like information is just easily available nowadays. Put it in ChatGPT. It will do it all for you.
You have a whole computer in your pocket. You have a whole computer in your pocket that you can just,
your phone, everything. You have everything. There's no excuse. There's no excuse to say I didn't know.
Especially we're in America. I see the village people doing TikTok, and you
all
are
over TikTok, right? All over TikTok. But that parent that's struggling is sitting over there talking about, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, just open your mouth and just ask someone. My child is struggling in school. Do you know
because we don't want to
can help anything? They will say, go to the teacher. Actually, just talk to the teacher. The teacher will help you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Just we talk about we spend so much time talking about necessary things, but then the important things we don't want to talk about. Just ask. That's basically it. But we've gone over our time, and We appreciate you all so very much. We thank you all for tuning in, everybody that is watching on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you so much. We'll be here again next week. Thank you to our guests, Dr. Felix and Dr. Vivian. We appreciate. Oh, Lady Mary doesn't want us to go. She just
I think it's been there. It just popped up.
Okay. She said, how did Prof. Felix deal with his parents not doing things the way he wanted, especially coming to school in their African prints, which he did not like? So how did you deal with that situation? You just kind of let it go, or?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do anything about it. I mean, the embarrassment was there. I felt disrespected. I felt that they didn't respect what I told them. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing that you can do about it. Just move on and continue with your education. That's what I did. So
yeah. Have you spoken to them about that?
listen, I still have an apology that they haven't given to me.
You're waiting for it.
Is it about an apology that happened, and they know what I'm talking about. I still haven't received that apology yet. That happened like maybe a decade ago. I still haven't received that apology yet.
You gotta love your parents, man. You gotta
love them. You gotta love them. You gotta love them. Yeah, you only have one, right?
You only have one. It's like sometimes you just like, you know what? Forget it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all so very much for accepting the call and for it was a very good and educative conversation. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for joining. See you next week. Bye.
Yo. Now your matter with the talk. Your life, your wahala, your breakthrough, idea. Welcome to the chat room.
This no be ordinary place. Now a solution they show face. Lady Mary, they